Good evening. Thank you, Dean Popkin, and good evening, graduates, parents, professors, and school staff. As a fellow Bruin, it's wonderful to be back on campus and to celebrate this special day with all of you. Addressing you all today weighed heavily on me because so much has happened this past year. How would I address a group of graduates about the futures that they are about to launch without mentioning all the chaos and strife that has taken place on this campus and in campuses all over the country? How would I impart a sense of hope to you while acknowledging that the circumstances that we find ourselves in today? I realized that no matter how hard I tried to thread that needle, I would come up short. Instead, I've decided to speak from the heart and share my personal experiences, hoping you find something meaningful in them as you start your own creative journeys. Many of you started college during a global pandemic full of confusion and uncertainty. Among the chaos, millions of people died. There was horrific wildfires, racial violence, and political upheaval. What a daunting way to start your college years. You all adapted to the new rules of life overnight and rose to the occasion, even when the adults around you couldn't agree on anything and made countless mistakes. In hindsight, it may feel like it wasn't a big deal, but I can assure you that overcoming so many back-to-back obstacles and still graduating today is an incredible accomplishment. I'm truly in awe of your resilience and determination. As you embark on this next chapter, the challenges and global issues you face may feel daunting. I can relate to that feeling. My life started during a time of turmoil and uncertainty. I was born in 1979 during the Islamic Revolution in Iran. It was filled with chaos and violence. Shortly thereafter, a hostage crisis began that lasted 444 days, followed by a bloody war between Iran and Iraq. My first childhood memory was during an air raid where Iraqi planes were bombing Tehran. I was 4 years old. We evacuated our high-rise building in the dead of night and huddled together in fearful anticipation. I could hear the planes flying above, but couldn't see them. Half asleep, I remember miming a gun with my tiny fingers and pretending to shoot the planes down, unable to fully grasp the gravity of the situation. Fearing for our safety, we fled Iran and sought refuge in America, despite the irony that the Iraqi planes bombing us were supplied by the United States. We arrived with a few suitcases and $72 and started over. Through hard work and determination, my parents rebuilt our lives. I remember a lot of hardship, but also remember an incredible amount of joy and happiness. Slowly, things got better. My parents' resilience had a deep impact on me. Later on in life, when times were hard, I would remember what we went through, and my current problems would pale in comparison. Instead of hindering me, my early life experiences served me well as I began navigating the world and finding my way as an artist and an adult. Graduates, your perseverance will be essential as you move to this next stage of life. Your resilience helped you get through a pandemic and multiple periods of civil unrest and protests. During it all, you managed to get to the finish line. You are prepared to move forward and tackle the new challenges that life throws at you. Let's give you all a round of applause. We all know that campus life hasn't been smooth sailing as of late. Schools around the world have seen students protesting for a ceasefire and for their schools to divest and not profit from war. For generations, student activism has been the cornerstone of social justice movements. This is not a new phenomenon. Just ask your parents. Students from all backgrounds have come together to advocate for change and are often met with over-policing and violence. Here on campus, a violent mob attacked our students while both campus security and police stood by for hours without intervening. Over the last 2 months, police have been called again and again on students and faculty. Some of the very students that are here with us today were arrested and are having their degrees withheld because they protested to end war. College should be a place where vigorous debate and dialogue are encouraged, not silenced. Anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, and other forms of bigotry have no place on school campuses here or elsewhere. The media likes to focus on bad faith actors and a handful of clickbaity xenophobes in order to paint all protesters in a negative light. But that is not the reality. The truth is far more simple and human. Students do not want to see more loss of innocent lives with no end in sight. They have seen prior generations fund countless wars with no end game and are asking for a better way. Nobody wins in wars. I know from personal experience. My family lost everything due to war. The innocent civilians lose. The hostages whose interests are not being served lose, and the soldiers who will have to deal with a lifetime of trauma and regret lose. Nobody wins in wars. Violence begets violence, and the only way towards peace is the firm commitment to equality and equity for all. The only way we can progress is to give everyone the dignity and the respect that they deserve, regardless of which side of a border they live on, which God they pray to, and who they choose to love. Despite the turmoil we're currently experiencing, I have hope in our collective future. I look at the brilliant, compassionate, and forward-thinking class of 2024 to point out the errors of past generations and forge a new path. And if fixing the state of the world isn't a tall enough order, you all also get to navigate an exciting career in the arts. The arts are often viewed with confusion and criticism and treated as a nice to have instead of the vital part of society that they are. A life in the arts is a complex path. Whether you're an artist, designer, architect, scholar, or dancer, there are no shortcuts and there are multiple routes one can take. You may find immediate success, or you may take decades to find your lane. The good news is that unlike many careers, time is on your side. The more time you spend on your craft, the better it will get. With each year, you will refine your voice, you will find the nuance in the moments that others ignore, and you will master the art of uncovering truths that are hidden in plain sight and often overlooked. I came to UCLA full of energy and excitement in 2002. I knew exactly where I wanted to be, but didn't know how to get there. I spent 3 years studying with some of the most brilliant artists of our time. All of my art heroes walked through my studio doors and shared their insights and wisdom with me. Imagine Matthew Barney coming into your studio to see your paintings, furrowing his brow and saying, "Have you ever thought about making sculpture instead?" Well, I can because it happened to me. Not exactly the reaction I was hoping for. I graduated without fanfare and watched as many of my peers found immediate success. They were getting wined and dined by the art world elite while I toiled away painting in a spare bedroom. It took almost a decade to build any momentum, and I will tell you that it is still hard today. Each of you will begin this next chapter in your careers when you leave campus. Some of your classmates will find success with ease, some will struggle at first and eventually find their way, and some may even decide that this path isn't for them and change directions. There is no right or wrong. The only way to find what life will bring next is to put one foot in front of the other and begin. It can be a frustrating and confusing endeavor. It certainly was for me. But when I look back at my journey as an artist with all its doubts, struggles, twists, and turns, there's no other path I would rather take. I still wake up excited to make art every day and fall asleep dreaming about it. We have the rare occupation where winning the lottery just means getting a bigger studio and being more selective about the projects that we work on, because creating is our lifeblood. This is not the reality for everyone working a 9-to-5. With all the challenges that await, I want to share with you today certain things that have helped me along the way. Your peers are part of your creative community. Collaborate with them, share studio visits, critique one another's works, and share skill sets. Many of your classmates will be going through the same things that you are. Be each other's resources and confidants. Share your connections. Many people hold their connections close to their vests, thinking that recommending a curator, collector, client to a peer will mean losing out on an opportunity. However, many of the wonderful opportunities that I've had come from recommendations from friends. I make it a point to go out of my way to promote fellow artists whose work I admire. I bring collectors and curators to their studios, introduce them to galleries, and promote their work. Others' success will never be an impediment to yours. If someone helps you get a sale, makes a connection for you, or brings you an opportunity, thank them. Don't forget those who help you along the way and reward them with praise. Cash doesn't hurt either. Remember that this is a small community, and what goes around comes around. Become literate in business. Most creatives forget that they are operating a small business. Get a good accountant, read the fine print and contracts, show up to meetings on time, keep track of your clients or collectors, and speak to other entrepreneurs. You can be as creative as you want in your studio, but knowing how to handle a business will be a skill set that will come in handy on multiple fronts. Being savvy in business doesn't mean that you have to sacrifice the integrity of your work. If anything, it will ensure its longevity. Be humble and kind. It seems like a no-brainer, but nobody likes to work with a jerk. You may be hot today, but tomorrow you may have a career lull. If people like you, they will give you another shot. They will invite you to collaborate with them and recommend you to others. Create your own opportunities. Curate shows in your home or garage. Write essays for each other. Get together with friends to create publications and put on your own performances. Some get lucky and have the world come to them. The rest of us, we have to make luck happen. Take risks. My thesis show at UCLA wasn't that great. It took me almost a decade after graduation to find my voice and make work that I felt confident in. This only happened because I experimented and made many, many, many terrible artworks. Each work will lead to a new one and eventually will lead to a breakthrough. Make work from a personal place. And I don't mean make autobiographical work. I mean make work that is valuable and meaningful to you, that springs from the unique perspective that you bring to the world. Don't make work that you think others will like or about a topic simply because it's timely. mine the depths of your lived experience, and create work that is authentic and unique to you. And lastly, cultivate empathy. Last year, as I watched the protests in Iran for equality and freedom, I made a painting titled, "I want to live, to cry, to survive, to love, to die." I thought about how these are the basic desires of all humans, regardless of who they are. We all want to live in peace, to cry during good times and bad, to survive and overcome life's hardships, to love freely, and to die with dignity and in peace. Empathy is how we all get to experience these basic human needs. Graduates, a path into arts is truly unique in that we get to use our skills to communicate with the world. Art has the powerful ability to shed light on the injustices of the world, share nuanced ideas, create inclusive spaces, and communicate feelings that are at times hard to verbalize. The world of design, architecture, art, and dance is full of powerful tools that brings about social change and cultural shifts. We are the rare people who get to create meaning through gestures and ideas. We are the ones who create the symbols and icons that historians will study in the future. We shape culture and bring nuance to a world that wants quick answers. We spark joy and thought with our work, and there is nothing that I would rather do. To quote Gerhard Richter, art is the highest form of hope. As you embark on your quests, remember that creativity and hope are entwined, and as long as we are creating, we are bringing light to the world. Let hope and resilience be your guides. Congratulations, class of 2024.